The Global Latin Factor Podcast.
Welcome, you and all to another episode of the Global Latin Factor Podcast, where we talk about Latino everything. That's right. And today, with no exception, we bring you some amazing Latinos. But again, before we get to that, business. Subscribe to the channel. Yeah. Give us a like. Wherever you listen to it, we distribute the podcast all over. So wherever you're at, hit us up. Let us know how we're doing. Feedback, welcome, and we'll take care of it and make this product a whole lot better for you to enjoy and share with your loved ones if you are subscribed already. And if you are enjoying the episodes that we're putting out, then, like Melissa, our previous guest, she shared a video which hit home. I felt it and I appreciate it. So let us know how we doing, and we're gonna continue putting. We are trying to get our goal to 1,000 subscribers because that opens up more opportunities for us to even expand the podcast and bring even more, so you can be entertained all the time without having to go anywhere but come to this beautiful place right here and learn about different Latinos, culture, food, dancing, you name it, we got it. Got it. Thank you. Now, before we move on to our first Latina that we're going to be talking about, let's talk about being a kind person in general. It's just something that I wanted to talk about because it doesn't really cost a lot to be a kind person. Even though we do make our own perception, there is a few times where people do some weird stuff that it is not the nicest thing, but it really doesn't cost anything to be the nice person without putting you in like a harmful situation or anything like that. It really doesn't cost anything to help lend a hand to anybody whenever possible, whenever you can. I think that stuff gets paid forward later on, and yeah, you'll be most likely rewarded one time or another with whenever you're in a time of need. And even though you didn't want to, it will be. And it's just by default that it happens sometimes. So yeah, it doesn't cost anything to be a kind person. So work on that today, and yeah, let's make this place a better place. Now, here we go. I say now a lot. I'm gonna stop that. I'm gonna work on that. But you have to subscribe and let me know that I said it again. Count. I want you to count. If you're watching this episode, I want you to count how many times I say that word. I'm not gonna say that word. Okay, we have we have we have I say okay too a lot. That's another one. So now and okay. All right, 2 words. Got it. Becky G, Rebbeca Marie Gomez. And Rebecca is spelled with 2 B's. So it's Rebbeca. That's how she spells Rebecca. Becky G. Get it? Rebecca Gomez. Born March 2nd in 1997, known as professional name, as I mentioned earlier, Becky G. She's an American songwriter, singer, and actress. She first got recognition back in 2011 when she was doing covers, and some people started getting notice of her. She was born in, as she likes to say it, Inglewood, yeah, California, A. She's the first daughter. When she was 9 and 10 years old, roughly, she wanted to dance and she wanted to act. So even at the young, early age, she already knew what she wanted to do, and she took action to make sure she made it happen. It seems that because I've seen different videos about it, but it seems that they might have been affected by the housing crisis. They lost their house or something happened, and they had to move to their grandparents' garage and live in the garage for a certain amount of time because again things didn't work out. Now, in I don't know the time frame of this happened, but I know in 2008 the housing crisis happened, and it makes a lot of sense now if you're going through a process of buying a home, that the things that are put in place, right? Because I don't know her situation, right? But it almost made me believe that it might have been a loan that it wasn't the best loan possible, that it changes month to month depending. And that happened a lot in 2008. Like lenders were giving loans to a lot of people that didn't have to have a loan yet, for not that didn't deserve it, but certain things that you are able to tell to know if somebody is going to be able to make the payments. And it all makes sense, right? It's not nothing against anybody of not making your dreams happen, but it has to make sense in order for you to be able to tell that you are able to make the payment for the mortgage. And whenever they're giving loans away and the interest rate is going to fluctuate month to month, and you're given a verbal income, like your verbal amount that you're saying, but it's really not what you're taking in home, then whenever your payment changes, then and you're not able to make the payment, then a lot of people when I'm able to make the payment, and that's one of the reasons why. And then there was other stuff going on, but one of the ones that I know personally, that I know a person that happened to, and then just in general, knowing about the mortgage industry, things happen like that. So if you're going through buying a home or refinancing, there's a certain reason why they put these things in place, because people were not following the law, or not being kind, and they were putting people in bad situations because they wanted to benefit themselves. You know, and you know what's crazy? Not a lot of people went to jail for that. They got fines and a slap in the wrist, while other people lost their homes and they had to start over, maybe even homeless. I don't think it's very fair, but that's just what happens. Yes. So unfortunate. Fun fact about her, and she didn't get her license since she was 20 years old. And the only reason why she got her license was because she was gonna go drive to a movie. They needed her to be able to drive for a movie, so she got her license at about 20 years old, if I'm not mistaken. She's been on Empire as Valentina. Hey, what's up, Tocaya? Valentina, I see you. Trini, the Yellow Power Ranger, the first LGBTQ character. And also one of her videos. So one of her videos that she did, it got caught attention from one of this producer is Dr. Luke. If you don't know who that is, Google that guy. He is in the music industry. He has worked with various huge artists, you know. And with that, they were able to come up with a deal with Kamasabi Records and RCA, and they work with her, and she was able to work with Will I Am, Cody Simpson, and Cher Lloyd. Now, her first official debut single was Becky from the Block. Get it? Becky from the Block. Guess who was somebody that made a cameo for that song? J Lo. You can tell Jenny from the Block, Becky from the Block. She kind of liked her. She kind of like got paying homage to the song, so she did her own version of it, and J Lo did a cameo on it. So cool, right? She released her debut extended play again, in 2013. Later, her second single was "Can't Get Enough" in 2014, where it featured guest vocals from our previous one, Pitbull, and it landed in the Latin rhythm airplay charts in the United States. Now, in July 2017, she released her single. Drum bro. This is where you're gonna start to get to know who she was. Mayores with who? Bad Bunny. That's right. Which topped the charts and in Spain, Ecuador, Chile, El Salvador, and of course, I'm pretty sure here in the U.S. as well. Again, while reaching number 3 on the Billboard Hot Latin Song charts. What I'm talking about, the global Latin factor. Makes sense, right? Makes sense. She is Mexican American, by the way. I didn't mention that, but she is. Now, her success led to collaborations with some of the artists they already established, such as Daddy Yankee, French Montana, and David Guetta. Another song. Now, another song that I know has billions. Some of the videos that she has on YouTube, it has billions of views, not millions, billions. Like at least minimum 8 billion. But a billion views on YouTube is a lot of views. It's a lot of views. There's a lot of people replaying the song, and wow, it's just crazy. So, 2018, she released another song with Dominican singer Nari Natasha. You know the song Sin Pijamas, which also entered into the top five of the Hot Latin songs, peaked at number one in Spain and the top 10 in several countries. In July of 2008, she also released Suited, featuring French Montana, Farruko, as the first English language song in 3 years. On September 27, she was featured on the song Chicken Noodle Soup remix with South Korea rapper and dancer Jake Hope of BTS. Oh, yeah. So there you have it. That is Becky G. Now you know the reason why her name's Becky G. And if you didn't know, now you know. And a fun fact, 20 years old when she got her license. How old were you when you got your license? Huh? Tell me in the comments. Let me know. I was 15. No, I was 16. That was back in the days when they let you get your license when you were younger. Because we were all mature back in the days. Okay. Now, moving on to the next one that we didn't talk about, and I got ahead of myself, but now we're going to talk about them. This is the gentleman named Armando Christian Pérez, aka Pitbull, aka Mr. 305, Mr. Worldwide. You know the guy. Bilingual rapper, singer, songwriter, brand ambassador, businessman, philanthropist, and producer. Pitbull. One of my favorite lines that I like about him is that the one that he has, like, like me not working hard, yeah, right. Picture me with a Kodak. Or better yet, go to Times Square and take a picture of me with a Kodak. Took my life from a negative to a positive, and then it goes on. And I just like, I don't know. It just so when he was younger, his mom, when he was riding in the car, his mom used to put a lot of motivational tapes all the time. And he always wanted to change it and put something else, but she was like, "No, don't touch, never touch a Latina's mom radio. Never touch a Latina's mom radio." He's like, So he'll be playing on the background, right, all the time. And if you think about all the things that he's doing recently, if you know about him, if you keep up with him, if you're a fan of him, of all the things, it only makes sense that even though he didn't want to listen to, all the stuff was getting in his head of motivation, of becoming better on this and that, and you know, growing. And it only makes sense, right, that he is in the path that he is for the same reason that his mom was playing all this stuff back in the days. Okay, so Pitbull was born to Cuban expatriates in Miami, and if it wasn't for his parents, he would not been connected to his Cuban roots. And he one of the individuals, which is a poet and a hero to Cuba, is Jose Marti. And one of the ones when he was smaller, he can actually recite some of the poets in Spanish for that gentleman. And that's how his family got him connected to the roots. Growing up, he was also influenced by Miami-based genre pop music, and he liked Celia Cruz and Willie Chirino as one of the inspiration for his music. And you can hear it whenever some of the songs come on, certain things that he said or certain vibes, you'll be like, oh yeah, I see what he's talking about. So his parents separated, but mostly he was raised with his mom, and later on he spent some time at a foster home in Roswell, Georgia. Now, he attended South Miami Senior School before graduating from Miami Coral Park High School, where he focused on his career in rapping. That's when he started getting into rapping. Now, two events that made him change his life. One of them was he was strapping a gun under a car, and his dad happened to walk. Even though him and his dad were not super close, he happened to walk and saw him like, "What are you doing?" And he tried to just make an excuse, but his dad didn't really give him a talk. He just said, "Look, you do what you do, but at the end of the day, there's consequence to what you're gonna do. So, you know what's gonna happen. And another one is that he almost so back in the days he might not move some work, aka narcotics, and one of his customers almost died of an overdose. So that or he almost got killed from the product because he stumped it. No, he wasn't an overdose. My apologies. Correction. So he almost killed the customer because they used to back in the day stump the drugs and something happened and he one of the customers almost didn't make it. And those some of the events that made him want to change the way that he was moving because it wasn't gonna lead him to places they needed to. And I don't know. I mean, again, I know his life wasn't like you know white picket fence, beautiful house, two parents. So he had to do some things to get by at that time that were felt like the things to do. But those events like got on his head to be like, man, I need to make some changes because otherwise I'm just not gonna make it. I don't want to end up in jail or something else. So he decided to change his way. The reason why he chose the name Pitbull is because he said to whenever like as far as the pit bulls when they lock into you they're like they don't let go, like they just grab on, they're just too, he called it stupid to let go. And they were outlawed in Dade County at the time. That's how he felt. And yeah, they always constantly like it's in their back in the days, not no more. I think they bred 'em- bred the aggression out of the dogs, but back in the days they used to, you seen in the news, they used to have them fighting and different things like that. So yeah, yeah, that's the reason why he at that time he felt like in the mentality of that he needed to have that in order to survive, and that's one of the things that he related to as far as the way that pit bulls were back in the days that were outlawed first of all in Dade County, and they basically would not ever stop fighting. So that's the reason. Now, after meeting with Little John in Miami, Pitbull was featured in Little John and the East Side Boys album King of Crunk in 2002, and Pitbull's song "Oh Yeah" was also featured on the soundtrack for the film Too Fast, Too Furious. Yeah, in the following year. And of course, he released several mixtapes. If you are really a fan, and if you are in tune with some of the work he did, you remember. Now, the city of Miami honored Pitbull with the keys to the city in 2009, August 19th. Now, I remember El Mariel is one of the albums, the projects he released, and I remember buying that like a CD still, and it was freaking awesome. It's only a handful of CDs that I actually bought, and I'm not gonna incriminate myself that I might have downloaded, not downloaded music back in some websites that they used to have available for free. However, if I did buy an album, it was a particular artist that I really like, and I really enjoyed the way that he did his things, and I wanted to get the CD, and yeah, I got the CD El Maria. I don't know where it's at. I might still have it, but that's one of the ones that I bought, and it was pretty good to me. I enjoy the songs that it had. In June 2014, it was announced that people will be receiving a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame too. So he also has a star. Pitbull has sold over 7.5 studio albums and over 100 million singles worldwide. He has over 15 billion views on YouTube as of May 2020. He has ranked Billboard as the top 45 top artist in 2010 and the 24 top Latin artists or Latino artists in 2010 as well. Pitbull, as far as everything else that he does, he does brand ambassador. He has Sirius XM radio, the Pitbull globalization. And as of May 2019, Pitbull has won 35 Billboard Latin Grammy Awards. Yeah. Fun fact about Mr. Worldwide favorite song. Guess what song? Comment if you guessed it before you. No, I'm just kidding. September by Earth, Wind, and Fire is one of his best songs. He said it gets him to the groove. Another fun fact about him, he wanted to play basketball also when he was. So a lot of the times he goes to one of the schools where he used to go and support the kids that bring sports into those schools to make sure that they are able to have an outlet and something that they can do. And yeah, he has known to get into politics a little bit. In 2010, people canceled a concert in Arizona to protest anti-immigration laws. And one time, another fun fact. So Pitbull was at some kind of awards, and John Travolta was there. And John Travolta asked him, "You think I look good bald and with a beard?" And Pitbull was like, "Yeah, I think you would." So John Travolta got inspiration from Pitbull to shave his hair. That y'all remember the time John Travolta had his hair shaved out? Well, that's one of the reasons why, because they went into each other and were like, he asked him like, "What do you think?" And I was like, Pitbull was like, "What? I can't believe this man, John Travolta's asking me about giving me advice of it." I like, "Yeah, I think you look great," and yeah, he pulled it off. That's very interesting to me that that happened. And yeah, there you have it. So, Mr. Pitbull worldwide now. I believe he's more into doing motivation and things, but I think it makes a lot of sense that he's doing that for the same reason that he was being all that stuff was being played in the background when he was growing up, and to have come from Cuban parents that had to leave their country to being at a foster home to doing what he is. Yeah, some people just got their will to continue and keep doing that thing, and maybe he doesn't really have the mentality now that he needed to be the pitbull, like keep fighting stuff, and he's open to different things. I think it's a beautiful story that he is at the place that he is. So there you have it. This was another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast. Remember, we are just like you. We are the spice in this melting pot that it is the world. Until next time.